Welcome back, everybody, to my channel. I'm your host, and today we're going to be continuing with our series of Creepy Chronicles. This is where I take true stories from all over the internet and present them to you in a nice little creepy package. So, if you like this sort of thing, please go ahead, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, before we get started, I would just like to take a moment to ask you guys to please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing because I put out new videos every single day. So, like I said, today we're going to be doing part 3 of our Creepy Chronicles series. I've got 4 stories for you guys today that are guaranteed to keep you up at night. So, let's get right into it. Story number 1, The Experiment. It was another beautiful summer day in Los Angeles, California. The sun was shining. The birds were tweeting, and 23-year-old Elise Harmon was working in her yard. It had been a long winter, and Elise was excited to finally be able to enjoy the warm weather and do some gardening. She put on some old clothes, grabbed a hoe, and headed out to the backyard. Her house was quite large, having been built back in the 1920s, and the yard was huge. There were plenty of areas that needed to be taken care of. Elise walked down a path that cut through the middle of her yard, and she noticed something strange sticking out of the ground. At first, she thought it might be a piece of driftwood, but as she got closer, she realized it was actually a human finger. Shocked by what she saw, Elise quickly called the police. They arrived shortly after and were able to identify the finger as belonging to a man named George McLeod, who had gone missing nearly 2 years prior. He had been reported missing in April of 2008 after going for a walk in Griffith Park. His body had never been found until now. Police immediately began searching the area and soon uncovered more remains, including a skull and several other bones. Eventually, they were able to piece together what had happened to poor old George. As it turned out, he hadn't just been in the wrong place at the wrong time and been murdered by a random person. He had been abducted and brutally tortured by members of a satanic cult. One of the members, a woman named Andrea Joyce, had even used his finger as a dildo. Another member, Matthew Harris, had used it to carve messages into trees. And yet another member, Cary Governor, had ground his bones into powder and sprinkled them around the area. All 3 of these people were eventually arrested and charged with first-degree murder. To say that this case was disturbing would be an understatement. It's hard to imagine the kind of evil that would possess someone to do such a thing. And it's even harder to understand why the police didn't find the rest of his body sooner. Story number 2, The Puppet Master. Have you ever heard of the puppeteer of Pilsen? It's a creepy urban legend that has been circulating around Chicago for years. The story goes like this. Back in the 1970s, there was a traveling carnival that came to town. One of the main attractions was a man who performed with puppets. The man was tall and thin with long, greasy hair and wore dirty clothes. The puppets he used were made out of human skin. The story says that he would carve the faces into the skin while the people watching would scream in terror. But it gets worse. The man would then proceed to stick the puppets on poles and march them around the tent, singing a song that went, "Beware the flesh, beware the bone, the puppet master will claim your soul." People say that one night someone broke into the tent and discovered the man's secret. He wasn't actually carving faces into the skin. He was carving the faces of people who had disappeared in Chicago over the years. And when the police searched the tent, they found more than 20 bodies inside. The man was never caught, and the story has been passed down ever since. Some people say it's just a story, but others believe that the puppet master is real and that he's still out there looking for new recruits. Maybe if you see a group of traveling puppeteers in your town, you should stay away. Story number 3, Monkey Man. I've talked about this one before, but I know there's lots of new viewers here, so let me catch you up. It all started in India in 1903. A businessman named J.H. Peel was walking home one night when he was attacked by a monkey. The monkey bit him on the arm and dragged him into the jungle. Peel screamed for help, but no one came to rescue him. He struggled against the monkey, but it was no use. The monkey was too strong and it dragged him deeper and deeper into the forest. Suddenly, the monkey stopped. It let go of Peel and ran away. When Peel finally managed to free himself from the vines, he was shocked to find that he had been tied up with a rope. And when he looked down, he saw that the monkey had also wrapped a noose around his neck. Peel was terrified. He had seen enough horror movies to know that monkeys were capable of some truly evil things, and he was sure that this monkey was planning to kill him. But as the days went on, Peel's fear turned into fascination. He couldn't stop thinking about the monkey and what it had done. He started researching monkeys, and he learned that they are highly intelligent creatures who are capable of complex emotions. He also learned that they are very social animals who live in close-knit communities. He started to see the monkey not as a monster, but as a victim of circumstance. He felt bad for the monkey, and he wanted to help it. So Peel did something crazy. He moved into the jungle and started living among the monkeys. He learned their language and customs and eventually became part of their community. Now, some people might think that this is a crazy story, but it's true. Peel spent the last 20 years of his life living in the jungle with monkeys, and when he died, he was surrounded by his monkey family. Story number 4: The Beast of Bray Road. In 1996, a woman named Jenny was driving home from work when she saw something terrifying standing in the middle of the road. It was a tall, hairy creature that looked like a biped bear. Jenny slammed on the brakes and stared in disbelief. The creature took a few steps toward her car and then disappeared into the woods. Jenny was shaken, but not injured, and she soon forgot about the incident until a few weeks later when she saw the same creature again. This time it was standing on the side of the road watching her drive by. Jenny was terrified and she sped away. She knew that if the creature wanted to hurt her, it could easily do so, but it seemed to be content to just watch her go. Over the next few months, Jenny saw the creature several more times. It always seemed to be lurking in the woods watching her. She was too scared to tell anyone about her sightings at first, but eventually she confided in a friend who convinced her to go to the police. The police didn't believe Jenny at first, but they eventually took her seriously when other people started coming forward with similar stories. They had all seen the same creature. It was big, hairy, and seemed to be living in the woods. The police brought in experts to help them track down the beast. They set up cameras in the woods and even brought in a helicopter. But the beast was elusive, and they never managed to catch it. To this day, no one knows what the Beast of Bray Road is. Some people say it's a bear, but bears aren't native to the area. Others say it's a werewolf, but there's no evidence to support that claim. Whatever it is, it's definitely out there. And if you're driving home late at night, you better watch out. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and leave a like. If you want to see more content, please go ahead and subscribe. If you want to send me stuff, check the description for my P.O. box. Thanks again for watching, and have a good night.